Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. Are you ready for some foolish shenanigans with this fella right here? Look at me, I got a skull on my chest today. Lots of you telling me this is for Halloween. There's some sort of Halloween mod in the mod pack. I appreciate you letting me know. Is it useful for anything other than just being there on my chest plate? I don't know. We didn't get that far, but feel free to let me know. And behind me is our temple, which hasn't changed since the last episode. Now, I have a very busy week ahead of me, and that means I've got to record in advance. So the previous episode hasn't even gone live yet, and I haven't done my Wednesday live stream. So we're going to come back here later on in the video and check out the changes that I make. But I am dead excited for that project. I'm excited for what we're going to be doing in today's episode. But right now, I'm really excited for this pet that I found. The black hole pet. Sounds absolutely crazy, doesn't it? No, I'm trolling you. I'm trolling it. This pet maybe makes you forget that you've used it before. I think we've used this 3 or 4 times. It's becoming a bit of a running joke. I always forget about the black hole pet. I think that's hilarious. I also have a fool's bag, and it's probably not going to be that exciting now, is it? Because I think we've seen all these have to offer. Yes, we probably have. Another Choppy McChop face. Goodness me, how many of these things do I have now? I've got 3 in my backpack. There's no room for it. I might as well throw it away at this point. Ridiculous. Crazy, that's what I say. Check this out over here. I've been doing a little bit of automation, investigating this block right here, the inscriber from Applied Energistics, and I'm thinking about starting to automate some crafting and resource management with AE2. Now, this is going to be a huge learning process for me. I am going to take baby steps, and I'm possibly going to do things in a way some of you may disagree about. This is all about learning and getting things to work, and we're going to start off, I think, by automating these inscribers. So check it out. If I chuck in some gold at the top here, we can put in items from the top and they'll go in, and this thing should be doing something right about now. Why? I know why. It's because I'm a derp. I put in the wrong thing. Let's take it out. Let's put in the right thing. Jeez. Those are the ones that go in there. Excellent. Okay, and then we make this item, which might just immediately disappear. There it goes, and it's doing it over and over again. Some automation here, which is pretty cool. You can put an item in from the side, you can put it in from up top, and you can take it from down below as well. And I had to use an item filter here to move items in and out. And sorry, I must correct myself, you don't actually take it from the bottom here. You insert from the bottom, right? You actually take the item here out from the side, so it's like it's level with the middle. Redstone goes in there, that's where the item comes out as well. So we're extracting on that channel. We've also got an extract channel here that didn't work. So if I just turn that off to nether active, you'll see it's not able to actually pull it from the bottom. It only pulls it from the side. But with that, we can start to automate some basics here. This is how we did it with Emmy in the past. You start off by automating the things that you need to automate the things. It's kind of crazy, right? So we've got an inscriber over here. If we press U for uses, we can actually clone. Oh, that's good to know then. So I spent all that time getting loads of these and I could have cloned them. Oh well, that's fine. So 4 of those are clones. Does that mean there's 7 recipes here we want to automate? It looks like it, doesn't it? Yes, so that's where we're heading. There's also some advanced stuff I want to show you here at the beginning of this episode. So this area down below was supposed to be a trophy area, but Fools hasn't done anything with it. There's a whole bunch of technical stuff already here, and I think it just makes sense to use this space for the technical stuff, which is what I'm about to show you. So maybe we'll put our trophy room or turn it into a building, put it somewhere else. But right now, I just want to show you some more advanced stuff that we can do with automating crafting. This is a molecular assembler right here, and this can actually automatically craft stuff, which is really cool. Now, there's a couple of interfaces here that I want to throw down and show you. The first one is a pattern terminal. The second one is a interface. So if we open up this one right here, we can see all of our items in the system, and we can create patterns as well, which is pretty cool. I've already got a gold pattern right there. And if we grab this and put it here, and let's say we look at the recipe for this stuff, we can see our aluminium brass right there. Another thing to mention, by the way, is that's the only thing that can make. So this is pretty straightforward at the moment, right? If there's only one recipe for the essence, then what we're about to do, yeah, will make a lot of sense. If there's multiple things, it gets a little bit more complicated. So we'll come back to that later on. And Scouter is now standing next to me. So we got an Emmy Interface here. We're going to place this down on the side of this molecular assembler. We're going to We're going to hook it up like that, and you can see there's an interface here. It's really confusing. I don't actually understand this bit that much, but what's cool is that you can see it from the pattern terminal, the Emmy Interface terminal. You see it appears right here. You can actually put patterns into this, which I think is extremely cool. However, I couldn't figure out how to get them to automatically do stuff yet. And another thing I know is that you can hook this block up, or ones that are similar to it, to things like furnaces, alloy smelters, and other machines, and then you will see those machines inside of this interface, and you can supposedly tell it what to do. Now that stuff's a little bit advanced for me. I haven't quite figured it out because I'm not used to this mod, but there are some things in this mod that are similar to one we used in Sky Factory with Rendog. If you saw that series, you'll know what we're about to do. Now we've got the import and the export bus here, and what I've got to do is think like I'm the storage system. I'm the storage system exporting items over here, and I'm the storage system importing them from here as well. And that's important because I usually get those the wrong way around, right? I'm sure many of you seen me mess that up before, especially on live streams. So over here we can tell this thing to export gold essence, which we can use to craft in here, and at the bottom we can tell it to import the gold that it's going to get. Now we've done that successfully. What we then got to do is actually put the recipe inside of here. So without this pattern, it's not going to do anything. And it should in theory be doing something right now. I can see that it doesn't actually have... Oh no, it does have a connection there. Okay, no, it's just being really, really slow. So it's putting the items in at a snail's pace, and then it crafts them. It's probably going to take them out at a snail's pace as well. So we are now automatically crafting, but we have 26,000 of this stuff plus, and what I'd like to do is set a threshold. When this thing isn't full up, we want to craft, but we don't want to, you know, end up using all of the stuff. And the way that we're going to do that threshold is by adding a level emitter. So we're going to introduce some redstone. Now that is pointing to the side, which I find kind of interesting because it sort of wasn't doing that before, but okay. If we click on this thing, we can tell it that we only want it to emit redstone signal at a certain amount of this stuff. So let's say we set it to 26,500, and then it will emit a signal when the levels are above or equal to the limit. I believe that would be the correct way round if the redstone signal is going to stop it. Now here's where I don't know quite how things work. If I open this up and I put in this redstone card, this should now interact with redstone. And we can tell it how to work. So always active, active without a signal. So when we are above or equal to 26,500, this is going to emit a redstone signal. And that's going to go into the exporter. And the exporter is going to do its work when it gets a redstone signal. So if we drop below that number, this turns off. As you can see, it's done right here. And that means it's not going to import any more stuff into here, which I think is really cool. So we've got to wait for the farm to then bring some more of this item in. And when it ticks over that 26,500, which it will do eventually, as you saw it just ticked up there, it'll go over to the crafter and that will start making some more gold. Boy oh boy, do these systems take their time to set up. There's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into this. Totally worth it though, because now we're automating all the stuff, all of it that can be created with these inscribers, and all I've got to do now is come down here, put that one there. Yeah, I think that's correct, and set that to 64. Just leave it on the default thing. And this is how it looks. Let me run you through it quickly. I've kind of already explained a lot of this, right? These ones are real simple. They stay in there, so the only thing you need to do is import a material from the side. Now I'm saying import because we're talking about the inscriber, right? We're exporting it from our system. Those two, man, they totally confuse me. You can see it's backed up all the way though, and that's because we have more than 64 inside of our system. So this light here has turned on. So repeating the same thing again for this one and that one, and then this one over here is empty. That means that I've run out of pure Certus quartz crystals, so I need to make some more, and I need to chuck them into this water, which is the thing we've got to automate, and that means I need a sand farm as well. So in order to get that one rolling around the clock, we need to make a few things that it's dependent on, but we've got a lot of these other materials. Now these last three is where it gets really complex, because you've got the exporters on the top and the bottom as well, and that's because all three materials here need to be regularly imported, as you're seeing right now. Those are the three that go in, and it's the same system on the back, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now what I was going to do earlier was actually build some front around this, some sort of aesthetics, and I was thinking we might move away from marble and we might integrate it with some laboratory blocks and some future blocks, but my head just isn't in the building space right now, so we're not going to rush into it. The layout for this room, however, is basically going to be a never-ending corridor. We've got loads of automation going on this side and on that side, and I'm not trying to wrap the room up at any point because we're going to do loads of this stuff over the course of this series, and so we need a place to come along and do that, which will just be this corridor right here, expanding in either direction, allowing us to add things on either side, so we can both look at them from a nice aesthetic room and then go behind over here and look at the nitty gritty. Now, speaking of the nitty gritty, this is what we got going on here, the molecular assemblers. I started off by placing them apart from one another, just because that's how we did it over there, and I've sort of since realized that actually we can put these side by side because they don't have a lot going on, right? We've got an exporter that goes into the back, an importer on the underside, and I believe that's it. However, I've just realized an oversight I might not have spotted because this isn't connected up to a system yet. We may need some cables pointing directly into it to power it, and you see that connection there? That's what we got over on this side as well. As you can see, there's an extra bit on the end to make sure it gets power. So that still works side by side, which I'm grateful for. This is going to be exporting the, let's try and say that, Fluix essence, and the other one is Certus quartz essence over on this side. So they're the two things that we're crafting. We've got our encoded patterns in there. I want to make sure that one's in here. And we're starting off with those two because we can craft them into seeds, which I actually think you can see right there. Yes. Oh, and we'll need to sag them as well. So somewhere in here there's going to be a sag mill for that. Right, there's another step that I've forgotten about. And speaking out about all the many steps we need to go through to make those seeds, we're going to need a cobblestone generator around here somewhere. I might actually move this, but I wanted to show you it quickly in case you've never seen this type before. Now, where I've been doing modded recently, I think we had like a cobblestone generator block, and back in the day, back on the old mod source, if any of you remember that, our first Hermitcraft mod pack, this was the way that you did it. I think you had lava and water, and you can make a vanilla cobblestone generator, but if you put one of these here and you give it a world interaction upgrade, or it's now called an upgrade for mining, and speed, just it goes faster, it starts generating cobblestone, which is pretty cool. Now we're going to end up, oh no, I had a feeling that might happen, so it's too much power drain. Let's take the speed out. Oh, I still can't fly. Well, I have to go upgrade my mills. And now I can fly again. If you haven't seen the mills, by the way, can we get there easy? Probably not. They're just underground. They're a complete mess. Yeah. So that's how we're going to generate cobble. If we click on U, we might actually see the uses for this in a sag mill. Basically, we can turn it into sand, right? And then it'll also make gravel. The gravel we can turn into sand using a couple of sag mills. And that's how we're going to get sand automated to craft with this stuff. And then we're going to chuck it in the water and pick it back up. It's going to be quite a challenge, but in order to do this simple thing, we've got to do a load of back engineering before it. Well, here's some strange but not so strangeness for you. Going to need a redesign on this because the exporter only works at the top. However, when you boot up the system, when you give it a connection, oh, it works from the side. Now, okay. Okay, so this thing wasn't doing anything a moment ago, and now it starts doing stuff? I just don't understand what's going on here, actually. I thought I'd sussed it out because I moved this to the top and it started working, right? They were all stuck on one item in there. They only were able to put in one item and that was it. And now this one's put in a few extra, and that one's going ham crafting stuff, and now it's stopped. Now it's stopped. You see the problems I have to put up with, peeps? This is modded Minecraft for you. It's very confusing and inconsistent. So our system here is about to back up and shut down, and that's because it's filling up with flint. And I've fallen down below. So what I want to show you is that you can expand these things over here with a capacity card. So you can see there's a 3x3 grid, and when you put one of these in, it unlocks another Thor. I'm guessing the next one would then put another Thor in there as well, and they might even stack in the same slot. I didn't think to experiment with that, but what we're going to do is just modify this so it's like the one, I shouldn't have clicked there, so that it's like the one next to it, okay? So this is where the whole system starts. The cobblestone goes in thanks to these conduits that are using different colours to move things around, and it extracts the sand and the flint that it gets from that down here. It moves the gravel using the conduits on the side over here. like so, and then this thing is going to export flint into there, which means it gets used in this slot, which I believe gives us slightly better output, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the sand comes out of here. So then what we're going to start doing is storing some of these materials in these drawers, which have been fully upgraded, and you can see we now got loads of sand in the system, and it's just going to keep generating that basically out of power, out of nothing, because of our cobblestone generator over the back here. That bat just flew in there, then it drowned. Oh, poor little fella. I think we're done with this for today, or at least I'm done with it now. That's what I will say. Just going to set up the very last bit here, and we're going to walk through this in reverse, which might be a little bit unusual, but I just feel like that's the way to explain things here. So that is going to import whatever this vacuum chest picks up, and I'm going to tell it to pick up the full seeds. For now, in case it, picks up something because there's nothing there, I'll put a stick on it, and I've got to take off my personal magnet when in this area, which might be a problem in the long run coming between this area, but the way I've set it up, I'm hoping that it will do a lot of these at once and it won't be running constantly, if that makes sense. So we got our water, we got the charging things around it, and we've got a dropper here that is going to be dispensing the items in. Now I'm going to sort of do this live, but it's probably not going to work, and I need to sit and scratch my head and think about it. Let's set it to always active. Whoopsie. Over here, always active as well. They should, yep, they're going in. That's terrific. That's good to see. And that means that these things are now in the water and charging up. So when they're 100%, we're going to add them to this vacuum chest here, and that's going to take them away through the import bus. Now, we got these things on either side. These are going to control these conduits here, and they're on insert, which means that I can't control them with redstone. Yikes. I'm going to have to think that one over then. Maybe we'll put these somewhere else. Maybe we'll put them at the extract bits over here, and that will close off those ports when we have enough of these things at 100%. Now that probably means we're going to have a load of stuff left. Where did the sticks come from? Oh, I think I know. Okay, maybe I don't know where they came from. This clicking sound is driving me mad, so I'm going to turn that off for now, okay? That's how we activate the dropper. So let's say, it stops extracting from here. We've still got all of these to go through. They'll all get converted to 100%, which is why I don't think this thing is going to turn on and off a lot. It'll just do it in a big batch every now and then because of the size of this. Now, one of the things I've tried to do is to not have lots of materials backed up in our system. Now these are crafter tier 1s. I've always made tier 3, and the difference is the amount of recipes that you can have at once. We only need one recipe for each block, and I found out when creating a recipe that you can select this here. So it says all items in input slots are consumed, or keep one in every inventory slot, which means you're never going to lose this one here, and it's like a filter to say only these 2 items can come in here. We can then fill up the rest with sticks, and I know where the sticks came from. They were actually in the output, so I need to set up an item filter there because I only wanted to have 1 stack in reserve. Like I said a moment ago, we're trying to limit the amount of stuff that is caught up in the system behind us. So below there we've got the export buses. We have the conduit networks to insert these things because they need to be sag milled. So over here we've got 2 sag mills. We've got the 2 different crystals. They go in there, they get turned into dust, they get move along. So I found a couple of flaws here. I guess I'll tweak them and then the system should be good to go. And also some of those look like they're at 100% right, and look at my inventory. I'm in no position to be picking these up, but we're going to try it anyway. Come to me, my lovelies. Oh no, 93%. I've actually made a lot of work for myself here, haven't I? Because now I've got to get all of those crystals back into there. That was a little bit silly. Okay, it is working. However, in the process of fixing stuff, we've ended up with a ridiculous amount of crystals there. Look at that, absolutely bonkers. And loads in my inventory still to go. So the key thing here is that we are using this only when we've got a signal to extract those and push them over to there, right? And we can control that down here. So at the moment, I'm saying 10 is when it turns off. And once all of those crystals are done, we'll probably turn it up to about 4 stacks. So this will be 2, 5, 6. And then that will mean once we go under 4 stacks of this item in the system, this stuff starts to turn on. And also I've set up the filter over here as well, and it's extracting those, which is just fantastic. That system works. We have done a lot of automation today, and I am extremely happy with how this has turned out. For the last part of this episode, I wanted to go through some mystical agriculture stuff and get a whole bunch of seeds together to do the last bunch of them, right? Except I ran out of these prosperity shards, so I chuck on the emerald chestplate, I come down here to mine some, and I get stacks in no problem at all. But check this out, okay? Listen. Is it me, or does that sound extra sparkly? I have a theory. Let's hear it again. I think it's the armor. I think the armor might be adding some extra sound effects there, because that just doesn't sound normal. So let's try it again. Oh, yeah, you hear that? There's a big difference. And there's some diamonds. We've got to mine the diamonds, right? Then again, we're farming them. I'll just leave them there. That always makes people mad. Let's try it on redstone. I'm not so sure about that. Definitely get extra sparkly sounds with the prosperity stuff, and there's loads of it around here. I am 100% getting more sparkly sounds when wearing the emerald chestplate. That is a cool little observation. So there was something I suspected here, because I noticed items lying around on the ground. My magnet would pick them up. That there was something wrong. The farm was too fast, the farming station couldn't keep up with the items or something. So I added these absorption hoppers, and I completely forgot about this. And as you can see right here, this is backed up, and so is the ender chest above it. So I need to go check out what's happening the other side of that. But if we have a look around here, this is the way I decided to lay out the crystals in the end. And I don't actually think it really looks that great. What I might end up doing is just hiding it all down below and maybe building a feature of my own up here. But I've just gone and put in a whole bunch of extra seeds. I think it was 13 in total, which brings us down to just a handful that we haven't farmed yet. As you can see, there's a few spaces there, a couple on that one. I think this one over here is full all the way around, which is crazy, and just a couple slots left on this side as well. But before we go into that, let's go and investigate what's going on with this ender chest. I got absolutely no idea. This thing is rammed full. This on top of it has speed upgrades. I never activated it. What a derp, man. What an absolute derp. There's a reason I'm wearing a ridiculous hat like this. It's to remind myself of how ridiculous I am. And now that up there is full up. Great. So that's all been fixed up and everything's working just fine. So with those absorption hoppers, everything is slightly more efficient, and we've added 12 new things in here. You can see most of them up the top here. There's a couple others. Just look for the low numbers. I think I said I made 13 in total. I accidentally crafted the same seed twice for one of those. But I've basically gone through everything and checked what we need. And I've got a list of what's left to gather for mystical agriculture. So check this out. It's really not a lot. The first things are all mobs. The rabbit, the blitz, the blizz, and the basilaz. That's going to take some figuring out to find those mobs, to farm them, and then to get the chunks in order to craft the seeds. We have Terrasteel, which is from Britannia. Then we got Star Metal, which I believe is from Astral Sorcery. So we could look into that mod a little bit and make the Star Metal and farm it. Rock Crystal, Zinc, and Brass. I'm not sure what they're from, but there are a few other things we got as well. And then all of these last ones right here are from Biomes of Plenty. So let's go and actually type in that mod, and you can see them right here. Not the things that we need, but the ores, right? There's all those names again. And these basically spawn in the overworld, but I believe each one spawns in a different type of biome. And it says Silk Touch needed, yet it drops something. So how does that work? But yeah, that means we've got to visit lots of different places and do some mining. So some research is in order for that. And I really like the look of the crystals. Check this out. They look so cool. Very nice pixel art going on right there. And so those are the things that are left for us to farm. So earlier in the video I said we'd be working on this building during my live stream, which we have done. If you want to see the live stream, just look in the description box down below. There'll be a link to the video on the second channel. Now, it's not going to look like a terrible amount has changed, but that's because it takes hours to do chisel and bits, right? And what has changed looks kind of superb from here. You'll notice a few bits that I'm still kind of working out, but for the most part, this looks fantastic, I think. We've pushed back the walls, we've added in the pillars on the corner, we've put like the little trim going all the way around, and I'm going to copy this design going all the way down to the wall there and around the back, and the front here is where the entrance is. There's a couple of extra details up the top. You may notice some colour. I decided to put in some pale colour. This is actually hardened clay, the blue type, which is slightly purple, and I think that just looks really, really nice. And there ain't too much else to say about it. You look at it, you know what's going on, right? If we pop down here, I'd like to show you a little something that I've set up. Okay, so I put all of the blue Hermitrons into storage over here, and it's actually gone through all of the coal because I never turned this thing off after using it. So, conducting a little experiment, power going into our energy acceptor, redstone power that is. That was kind of confusing, wasn't it? Because it also accepts power. But yeah, redstone signal going into that doesn't turn it off. So we would have to turn off the generator, which would probably mean any extra fuel gets drained out of there. Although, actually no, it looks like it holds onto it. But this thing's also got an energy cell attached. I found this in our storage system. You can see that the energy is actually going up at the moment. Is this thing even set? It's set to ignore. Well, that explains a lot, doesn't it? Let's set that to off to active. Okay, and now we should see this drain downwards. Yes, that's exactly what it's doing, and it didn't hold on to its energy. Good to know. Let's turn that on while we're using this. So we've set up a bunch of drives. We've got a crafting terminal, and our Hermitrons have been stored on here. And look at that, we've got loads of them. But you'll see from the red outlines that we actually got a couple of mythics, and when exploring, I only found one, and I believe that was the Rendog mythic. There's the other one as well. So we have 3 in total. That other one is being held in my ender chest. Now, when it comes to adding these to the system, I came up with a very nice way of doing this. Just vein mine that. It's a little bit crazy having lots of blocks flying around. And then create a chain of vanilla hoppers. And then just put the Hermitrons on top of it. And then all of them are going to get filtered into our storage system. We are making quite the snake here. It goes all over the place. The cool thing is we get to vein mine it away when it's done. And I think that's the last one. Yep, and then these ones stack because they're empty, so we know not to use those. So this can go. And now these will slowly drain and make their way through here. You can see it's kind of backed up at the moment because they all got to filter through one by one, and they're going into this import bus. So if we open this thing, we should be able to see some of the items coming in. I see another mythic. Wow. Lyra. You know, when I found them out in the wild, I would check for mythics a lot of the time, and apparently I missed a couple. Oh, and there's another one there as well. Bolt. Excellent. And one there. Dragonborn. Alright, we've got ourselves quite a few mythics. That's good to see. And now all of the items have gone into the system, so we're going to vein mine those back, and then vein mine these, and actually some of them probably dropped into the hoppers, so we might see a Hermitron in here. No, it didn't get there. During my live stream, I found something interesting on our way to a biome where we could get hardened clay, a mesa biome. This right here, now this looks like someone's been opening chant cubes, doesn't it? And if you saw my Sky Factory series, this is something that we actually got quite commonly from the chance cubes. So there is sapphire ore here. Sapphire ore, that sounded kind of strange, didn't it? And there is ruby ore as well, and these are the things that we need from Biomes of Plenty. Now, it's only these 2 here. In order to get the other ones, we are going to need to explore the world, but this saves us a little bit of time getting a couple of them in a kind of cheaty way, right? So, I got no problem with picking up these, but the rest of them we're going to have to explore the world and visit the biomes that they actually spawn in. And while I'm recording, it just so happens to be night, and there just so happens to be a blitz here. Please don't attack me. There we go. And I didn't get a mob chunk. But I'm going to stick around and see if we can get enough to make the seeds before this episode is out. So I just got to hang around here, really, and fly about. And we'll see them spawn on occasion. And yeah, there's also this magical thing as well. It's like a glowing / semi-invisible chest. It's not got anything useful in it, but certainly looks strange, doesn't it? A little bit glitched out. Hey, there we go. So we've got the blitz seeds, and we'll make these 2 as well. So all of this stuff has backed up all the way. As you can see, these things are full up. The outputs are full up. All of these have filled up. And the sand generation is the only thing that's still going on. But we're also producing silicon as well. And that would eventually, I guess, back up the system. So I'm glad I noticed that. We can just simply attach that into there. So it's going to be quite painless. And we're also producing silicon as well, which is a nice little bonus. In go the upgrades, and then we just got to put in the materials we're storing here. All the filtering stuff with the seeds has been done behind the scenes, and there you go, 3 more materials farmed. It's been a very productive episode, hasn't it? Lots of extra mystical agriculture going on, and this crazy setup right here. It's been fun to do some automation. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, thank you for watching the episode, and if you want to, leave a like. The support is always appreciated. And it's one-winged Asuma here still. Signing off yet again. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.